Everyone, Phi Farley here. It is Tuesday. We have got a good slate of afternoon games today. I got a daily best bet coming to you, going with the totals today, going for 6 straight winners. We hit 5 straight yesterday, looking for a 6-3 final, or looking for a 7-3 final in that Tampa Bay game. Ended up being 6-3, off by 1 run, but there we have it, a run line victory. Sorry again for doing such big chalk. I don't like to lay a minus 140, but on a day where you can only have 4 games to pick from, and that was a great spot. That's really what you get. So probably shouldn't apologize for a win, but we've had underdogs here throughout this streak, and today we got a totals play to get to, so I'm going to get to that in 1 second after I bounce through a couple of these games as I've been capping here throughout the morning. Also, don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. Also, check out my picks on patreon.com/Phi Farley. Check those out first and foremost. They're always there before YouTube video gets up, already posted. So this pick already posted out there on patreon.com/Phi Farley. All right, so let's get to today's slate of games and some interesting dynamics we have going today. By the way, you can also follow me on Twitter at Phi Farley. So some interesting dynamics going on today, especially with road and home pitching dynamics. You know, like Kyle Hendricks, for example, he's been outstanding at home, and this year with a 3.36 ERA is great, but on the road has just been awful. I mean, absolutely terrible. He's got a 5.49 ERA on the road, a 1.47 whip on the road. I mean, compared to a 1.65 ERA at home, opponents hitting 75 points better on the road versus home. So one thing you got to cap is that home road dynamic, and can Kyle Hendricks break that, especially against a Pirates team who's smashing the ball right now, especially Bell with his 3 home runs the other day, yesterday, which is as they clobbered the Cubs. So we'll see how that pans out for Hendricks versus the hot-hitting Pirates. Another game, interesting. Yankees lost Voit to the disabled list. So we'll see how, and Paxton doesn't do well on the road. We'll see how they do against the neighborly foes there in New York, going against the Mets. Zach Wheeler on the mound for the Mets. We'll see. We'll see if Wheeler can get the job done against a very hot-hitting Yankees team. Tanner Roark is another one who does great at home versus the road. Interesting dynamic going on down in Arlington. I'm sure you've heard about the passing of Tyler Skaggs, and very, very sad, unfortunate, and just, at 27 years old, there's just not a lot you can say. But in the betting world, what to capture here is going to be difficult. I've capped this game, went through it. Here's what you see on both sides. Mike Minor, phenomenal at home. 9 of his last 10 starts have all gone under the total. So that is one thing to note, including 3 of 4 at home. The only one that didn't was the Mariners going over. However, that said, the Angels hit Minor well, especially hard. And Minor doesn't give up a lot of hits, but he can give up a long ball. So in Arlington, that's something to be aware of, that Trout and Ohtani has some success against him, hitting the low fastball and driving it a long way. That said, also the Rangers don't hit lefties very well. Second worst in baseball. Suarez, a lefty, coming in here. Not a lot of experience, but he will get the start on the bump for the Angels. You're going to have an inspired Angels team, but they may well be emotionally pretty depleted. So, all that said, my lean here on this one, and I may have a play over on Patreon, but so I don't want to spoil anything. You can check that out. All right, so we also got the Tigers, who are absolutely a dumpster fire, but they have their best pitcher on the mound with Boyd going into Chicago. Nothing to write home about, but they are doing pretty good here at home, 22-18. But they got Lopez on the mound, so tough dynamic here. Here's an interesting one as well that I liked capping and breaking down. Marquez for the Rockies is at home, where the Rockies have won 8 of his 9 starts this season. They've won 8 of his 9 starts, but he has a 5+ ERA, and opponents hit over 300 against him, and they have the Astros coming in. So it's a minus 125 in favor of Colorado. Money's coming in on Colorado here behind the pitching of Marquez. But it's a really odd dynamic that you have a pitcher with a 5+ ERA and opponents hitting over 300. And that's just Coors Field for you. So funny, so odd how that ends up happening. So, one other game to note, Cardinals and Mariners. Both teams are terrible. 17 wins only for each, respectively, on the road, and the Mariners at home, only 17 wins. Cardinals are a minus 140 favorite. There might be some value here on the Mariners side. They're using Caracity as an opener, and then Wade LeBlanc is going to be getting the ball after the first, of which he is 3-0 when doing so in his decisions there for Seattle. So kind of an interesting dynamic there. All right, so let's go to the daily best bet. Looking for 6 straight. We're going to Phillies in Atlanta. So in this one, like I said, we're going with a total here. And when these two teams have met so far this season, they've played 6 games. The totals have been 14, 14, 6, 17, 11, and 16. So they've gone over 5 of the 6 games. There's not a lot to keep me believing that they would go under in this one with Aaron Nola on the mound, who does on the season have a 4.22 ERA. That's great, but on the road, it's a 7.28 ERA. Now, I don't think he's going to keep a 7.28 ERA on the road for the rest of the season. In fact, last year he had a better ERA on the road than he did at home. He had more success on the road than he did at home. So I don't think that's going to be the case for the rest of the season. But Atlanta just roughed him up in Atlanta, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 5 runs, 2 dingers, while he had 2 walks as well. That final was a 6-5. Philly actually won that game, and he's going to be going up against Dallas Keuchel, who, Keuchel so far, he's gone 10 2/3, 16 hits, given up 6 runs that are earned in 3 home runs. He's not as sharp as he used to be. He's got a 1.78 whip this season. So, I think runs are going to be coming in, runs are going to be going. And what's interesting, if you look at who scored the most runs in all of the month of June, who would you say? Yankees, they're number 2. Rockies, number 3. Red Sox, they're number 4. The Braves scored more runs than any other team in the month of June by over 10. So we have the highest scoring team coming up against Nola, who's terrible on the road. And then we have the Phillies, who can score runs on the road, going against Keuchel, who's not very sharp. One other thing to note, in Nola's games on the road, I believe every single one has ended over the total. Let's see, 11, 10, 16, 12, 13, and 17. So yeah, every one of his games have gone over the total. Again, Nola, I don't believe, will end his season on that high of an ERA on the road. He only has 6 games started on the road versus 11 games started at home. So he only has 29 innings on the road. That also comes with getting roughed up. It's going to take some runs for them to get the win. So therefore, all things said, high-powered offenses, not the sharpest pitchers on the mound. I'm going over the 10 total. Open at 9.5. It's up to 10 now, even money. So give me over the total in Phillies Atlanta daily best bet. All right, good luck everyone today. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out patreon.com/Phi Farley, and let's make it 6 straight. See you again soon.